Good morning, everybody. Just have something to sit on. Draw your buttocks flesh back so your sitting bones are facing directly down onto the support. Bring your knees a little closer together, so gently press them together, and then move your shins further away from you. So you're crossing in the middle of the shins. And then hold on to your knees. Gently pull on your knees as you press the knees down to the floor and lift your chest. Just take a moment to let your spine lift and lengthen. Roll your shoulders back. Bring your elbows a little bit closer in towards you. Let your hands draw closer towards you. Keep your chest lifted. So if now in this position you feel that your groins are quite tight and your knees are really being held up and they can't relax, you can't soften in the groins, take something else, just put it underneath you. So the more height you take, the more your groins will release and soften, and the more your knees can descend down towards the floor. You don't want to force them down. Collarbones broadly spreading away from each other. Bring your hands into Namaskarasana, a prayer position. Thumbs towards you, fingers away from you, and then just gently close your eyes, but feel that your chin is parallel to the floor. Chest continues to lift and open. Bring your attention to your breath. Only breathing through the nose, in and out of the nostrils. Just observe where the breath is moving to. It may still be right up in the top of your chest. Just stay with your breath now as the heartbeat starts to calm and slow. And as your heartbeat starts to slow down, as you relax into this position, observe your breath, gently inviting it further down into the lungs and not just in the upper chest. Let's open with the 3 Oms. Empty your lungs completely. Inhale deeply. Om. 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 Keep your eyes closed if you don't know the invocation to join in with. Just stay with your eyes closed and with a deep sense of gratitude for this time we have here on our mat for yoga and for where yoga comes from and the teachers before us. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya javaijakena yopa kurutam kavaram muninam tanjalim pranjali ranatosmi abahu purushakaram Shankha chakra siddharinam sahasra ketam pranamami patanjali Hari Om. Release your head to your heart. Just take a moment to make your own inner acknowledgements. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes to look to your fingertips. And release your hands so that your palms are facing up. Keep your head down. Slowly open your eyes. If you haven't already, have your palms in the receiving position. Raise your head. I'm going to go into Adho Mukha Svanasana. So take the support off the mat, but place it underneath your head. So you may need more height. You want your head, the top of your head, to be able to touch the support. I'll just demonstrate. The top of the head. So you may need more, you may need less. You don't want too much pressure onto your head. You can use a folded blanket if you want, whatever you've got, towels. Make it quite compact. So if you're using towels or blankets, press them down so there's not much give in them. And then take your hands wider apart than usual so that the little fingers touches the outer edge of your mat. Take your feet to the outer edges of the mat too. Outer edges of the feet parallel to the mat. And then take your head down towards the support. If you're straining to get your head onto the support, just take a little bit more height. So there should be no strain. Your head should come to rest gently onto the support. There should be more weight on the hands and the feet, but a definite connection. The top of the head onto the support. Bend your knees. Lift your heels off the floor so you're on the balls of your feet. Bend your knees. Move your chest closer towards your legs. So if your head comes off the support, then just move the support a little bit closer towards your feet. Keep your legs bent. And now slowly straighten your legs. Take your front thighs back. Take your inner groins back. Take your heels down if you can. Just down to where you get them. The back of your legs gently opening. Feel if your chest had moved forward as you took your legs back. Move your chest even more towards your legs. And now from the back of the knees, where the bottom of the hamstrings are, there's a lengthening up towards the top of the hamstrings and up towards the buttocks and the sitting bones. Lift up. Lift your sitting bones high up towards the sky. So there's an expansion and an opening here. So wider than normal Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bend your knees and take them as wide apart as the mat. Bring your big toes to touch, point them back, and just rest your head onto the support. Bend your elbows. Completely relax in your shoulders. And then slowly come sit back and up onto your heels. Bring your knees together. We'll need a chair. So if you can get in some sort of a chair, something firm like a dining room chair. And then a bit of wall space. If you don't have the wall space, it's fine. If you do, bring your heels back towards the wall with a bit of a space behind there, about 8 or 10 centimeters. And then the chair's in front of you. The back of the chair is facing away from you. You don't need your mat for this, so don't worry about moving your mat. And then when you're in this position with the chair here, just come down with your hands on the seat of the chair and look forward. So feel, if you're having to push back onto your heels, just move the chair a little away from you. So you want to end up with your hips above your ankles. So just see if you can check it. Even look to the side, see if you can see that that's all right. And then turn your head to look here. So the chair may need to slide away from you, but you want to end up now with your hands on the back of the chair, your ears next to your upper arms, and your chest moving down towards the floor. So see that if you feel that you're throwing the weight back onto the heels, just move the chair and pull it away from you. So your shoulders are in line, your ears are next to your upper arms. See that your feet are parallel to each other. Some of you may need to take your heels out slightly. And then press down onto the outer edges of your feet. Lift your inner arches. Take your kneecaps well into the joints. Let the front thighs lift and tighten up. And let your inner thighs move back. Your upper back or the thoracic spine. Invite a heaviness into this space as it moves down into your chest, opening and broadening your chest. And let your armpits open and lengthen forward. Keep your front thighs tightly drawing up, keeping your kneecaps well into the joints, inner thighs still moving back. So for some of us, this will be where we stay. And then for some of you, you can move your hands down onto the seat of the chair without moving your legs. And then just release your head down towards being in line with your upper arms. Keep your eyes open. And again, for everybody, let the thoracic spine, the upper spine, let it move down into the chest. If you feel your armpits opening out towards the sides, just gently take the outer edges of the shoulder blades down towards the floor. And just be aware, those of you with hyperextension in your arms, don't revolve them too much up towards the ceiling. So if you're taking the outer edges of the shoulder blades down, just be aware that the inner creases of the arms, this is for you, those of you with the hyperextension, the inner creases of the arm, don't take them too high up towards the ceilings. Sitting bones still reaching up. And now for those of you who can, see if you can walk your hands down to the front legs of the chair. You may need to push the chair away from you. Still keeping your ears next to your upper arms. So some of you may still be at the top of the chair or on the seat. It's fine. Hold and breathe. Opening the chest, collarbones moving away from each other. That dorsal spine, feel as though somebody's gently pressing their hand into that dorsal spine towards the chest. Sternum moving forward. Front legs pressing back, inner groins and inner thighs back. And then come up onto the seat of the chair for everybody. Put your hands onto the seat of the chair, look forward. Draw your shoulders broadly back. Keep your legs straight. Again, create that concavity to the upper back as your chest moves forward. So into Ardha Uttanasana, half Uttanasana. And then come up onto your fingertips, slowly come up, so hinge back and up. Bring your feet together. Just stand for a moment in Tadasana. Let your eyes be soft, stand completely upright. And then take the chair away, unless you're going to use it for Prasarita, which is the widespread pose. We'll all do this one. I'll just demonstrate for those of you who are not sure which one it is. Feet to the back edge of the mat, hands below your shoulders, and again, coming back to the same concavity of the upper back, and then have whatever head support you need to take your head down onto. If you can all get into this position and just wait for everybody to be ready. Back edge of the mat, heels right to the back edge of the mat, legs wide. Some of you may use the chair. You can use the chair if you need to put your head onto. Excuse me. And remember, with this one, always rather, if you're not familiar with this pose and not sure how many supports to take, rather take more. You can always move them away once you're in the pose. Okay, so legs are wide, press down onto the outer edges of the feet. Just check your feet, see that they are parallel to each other. Sometimes we have the tendency to turn our toes in too much. Look forward and have that imaginary imprint of somebody gently again pressing onto that upper thoracic part of the spine, and it's moving down to your chest. Take your hands a little wider apart, collarbones broadly away from each other. Sternum moving forward. So imagine that hand there on the upper back. Keep looking forward. Move your hands back, slowly taking your chest down, looking forward, and then take your head down last, the top of the head down onto the support. So if you don't need the support and if your head goes to the floor, that's fine. Keep your legs straight. Keep your eyes open. See if you can move your hands all the way back to being in line with your ankles. Your fingers are pointing forward. So if your hands aren't flat on the floor and you're on your fingertips, that's fine, but your fingers are still moving forward. Gently press down into your hands and let your shoulders lift up away from the floor. So your neck is long and soft. And again, the back of the legs opening. So your front thighs gently pressing back and tightening up, lifting up towards your front hips. Inner groins moving back. And the creases below the buttocks broadly spreading out towards the sides. And your sitting bones and buttocks flesh lifting up towards the ceiling, almost as if the buttocks flesh is coming up and over towards your lower back. See if you can stay there for one more minute. Just close your eyes now and just observe the natural course of the breath and perhaps even the shape that it's taking in this asana, this form. And then bring your hands below your shoulders. Look forward. Come back to that shape with the concave upper back. Have your eyes open. Carefully just come heel toe in towards each other. Then step your feet together. Just keep your head down. Take your hands onto your front thighs. Elbows in. And inhale, come up slowly, lifting your chest without rounding your back. Stand again, Tadasana. So come back to your center. Completely upright, chin parallel to the floor. We're going to be on the floor now. And you'll need a blanket or a big towel of some sort. Something that folds out to be quite big like this. And we're going to roll it. So if you've got two very thin blankets or thin towels, you could put them together to come up with this sort of shape. And then just lie on the floor. Not such a tight roll, just a loose roll. So you end up with something about this sort of size. It's not very tight. Yeah, it looks good. So you want it wide enough, Ellie, maybe two of those, what you've got, and a little bit wider. So it's quite wide. So when we lie back onto it, we're going to have our upper arms going over it. Yeah, so if you widen it a bit, that'll be good. Perfect. Okay. For now, you're going to place it underneath your sacrum. So, excuse me, let me demonstrate to the side. Just have a second towel or a blanket next to you. Some of you may need it, so just have it close by. And then we're going to go back onto the mat with bent legs, lie back so that the support is under the sacrum. Arms to the side. So I'm too close to the wall here, so just make sure you've got space on either side, just at 45 degrees. And then you're going to straighten your legs and let your feet roll out to the sides. So just lying in Shavasana. For some of us, if you feel that your head is tilted back and you can't lengthen the back of your neck to get your chin to your chest, just take that folded blanket under the back of your head, bring it right to the top of your shoulders, and then relax back down. So not everybody will need that support, but everybody needs to lengthen the back of the neck, bring your chin down to your chest. You're in that Jalandhara position, and close your eyes. Let your palms face up, so the support is just under the sacrum to start with. So not in the lower back. So the sacrum is that broad triangular bone. So it's in between the hips, right below the lower back section. Keep your eyes closed. Relax your legs and your feet completely. Your legs roll from the inner thighs to the outer. The feet roll from the big toe to the little toe side. There's no tension there. Palms facing upwards. Relax your fingers. And let your abdomen completely relax and quieten. And just observe where the breath is, where it's moving to. No control of the breath, just observing. And now open your eyes, bend your legs, lift your pelvis up, and just move the blanket so that it comes into the lower back, and so that the buttocks and the sacrum move down to the floor. It's just, the blanket is just between the bottom edge of the lower ribs, so the bottom edge of the lower ribs, and above the sacrum. So it's in that space, that natural lordosis. Take your arms, you may need to take your arms a little bit wider so you're not on the blanket with your arms. Slowly straighten your legs again. Palms still facing upwards. Relax your feet to the outer edges so that the toes roll towards the little toe side. Close your eyes again. Feel that the back of your neck is lengthening and your chin is moving towards your chest. Draw your shoulders under your back, down and under your back. And then completely relax your hands, your fingers. And observe your breath now. Feel how the breath has changed and it's able to move more into the lower rib cage without controlling. Just observe what's happening with your breath. And then slowly open your eyes. We're going to move the rolled blanket further up now, so bend your legs. You can come up onto your elbows, move the rolled blanket a little bit further back. So it's going to end up coming just below your shoulders. The top of the blanket is going to be where the top of the armpit is. And then you can lie your arms. The upper arms will end up over the edges of the blanket. So here, feel you still need your chin to be moving towards your chest. If you're battling to get that chin to the chin to the chest, take that folded blanket or towel that's next to you and just put it underneath the back of your head. Shoulders moving down your back. So the rolled blanket is underneath the shoulder blades, just below the shoulders. Palms facing up, straighten your legs. Take your feet slightly apart and let the big toe side relax to the little toe side. Let your feet fold to the outer edges, relaxing completely. Close your eyes. You can feel how the shoulder blades are gently pressing up into the chest. The chest is lifted, it's opened. The arms are out to the side, so there's this lovely expansion. Relax any tension on your face. From the center line of your face, allow the skin to soften to the outer corners. And let your eyes follow to the outer corners, and then allow them to deeply relax towards the back of your skull. And as they're moving towards the back of your skull, allow them to start to almost melt down, looking in the direction of your chest or your heart center. Just observe your breath now. You're only using your nostrils to breathe in and out of. When we observe the breath, this is also a form of pranayama, pranam, and it's considered to be ujjayi stage 1, just observing without controlling, listening for any sounds or sensations in the lungs. Just observe if you possibly feel any sort of uneven breathing. Perhaps you're favoring one side more than the other. Just observing. We're going to bring in the next stage, Ujjayi 2. So still keep your eyes closed. So just as you are lying here, we're going to start to lengthen the exhalation. So the inhalation will just be a normal inhalation, as has been happening just as you were observing that normal inhalation, slowly filling the lungs. And then there will be a slower, controlled, deeper exhalation, lengthening the duration of the exhalation. We'll do that together. That'll be one cycle, and then we'll breathe normally in between, just 1 or 2 breaths, and then we'll continue with that. So empty your lungs, exhale completely, everybody. Just allow now for a normal inhalation to come into the lungs with your chest naturally lifted now. Slight pause, and now exhale slowly, deeply, controlled Ujjayi exhalation, becoming longer than the inhalation. Once you've exhaled, return to normal breathing without any control. Empty your lungs again. Invite a normal inhalation in, right up to the top of the collarbones. Pause, and now a controlled, slow exhalation, Ujjayi exhalation, evenly breathing out, all the way out the lungs, and return to normal breathing. Just remember with pranam, there is no tension, so if the pace is too slow for you and you need to carry on breathing, don't strain yourself, just go according to your own capacity. Empty your lungs again. Inhale a normal inhalation. Pause, and then a controlled, even Ujjayi 2 exhalation, slowly and evenly exhaling, a cleansing exhalation. Once your lungs are completely emptied, don't strain, just breathe normally. Just feel that possibly your head has been tilted back. Let the back of your neck lengthen again, drawing your chin down to your chest. And one more of these Ujjayi 2. Empty your lungs completely. Inhale a normal inhalation, just filling your lungs up to your collarbones. Pause, and now a controlled Ujjayi exhalation. Slowly, with control, emptying your lungs, and resume normal breathing once they're completely emptied. Allow your eyes to slowly start to open. Just bend your knees. Your feet are flat on the floor. Roll over to your right off the blanket. Just pause there for a moment. And slowly come sit all the way up. So here, if you have a bolster and a blanket, take that. Otherwise, see what you've got at home there. A nice heavy cushion off the couch or folded blankets that you can make enough height. And you're going to need that bit of wall space again. If you don't have the wall, it's fine. So don't worry about a strap or anything. You want a little bit of a gap between the bottom of the bolster and the wall. So for some of us, this may be too low to lie on, and that's where you can take your phones or your blankets and you can build up height. So just see that before you go into it, just observe here how you can build up height underneath it. So you'll notice when you lie back down if you need that height. For each of you just need to make those adjustments, but for everybody, we just need something under the back of the head, and we're going to come close into the wall with the feet together, the soles of the feet are touching, and then you move, you're not on the bolster, you're in the front of the bolster, your buttocks is on the floor. Some of us may need something under the outer edges of the feet, the outer edges of the hips. So here you could have blocks, or you could have more towels or blankets that you bring underneath to avoid too much opening in the groins. If your hips and groins are open, you don't need that. Okay, so just if you can look here, what's happening with my toes. The toes are against the wall and your heels are touching. So come into that position, you're on the floor, heels are together, soles of the feet are touching, the toes are out to the sides. Feel that the bolster is right behind you. You can bring it in close to the lower back and then lift up and over onto the bolster. Your head is on the support, only the head. So bring the folded blanket or the towel so that it touches the top of your shoulders. Feel that you're lying evenly on whatever the support is that you've got, whether it's folded blankets or a cushion off the couch. Your arms are then taken out to the sides, palms facing up. If you are cold, cover yourself with a blanket. If you have eye cover, you can take eye cover or a scarf or something over the eyes. Just take a moment to get everything you need. Settle into this pose. You must make sure you are warm enough. So we're in Supta Baddha Konasana. Something over your eyes just helps to settle the eyes back away from the eyelids. So if you're lying here and you feel that your lower back is a bit strained, just roll off from that position and put more height under the back of the bolster, or make more height, whatever you're lying on. Still with something underneath your head. If your head is tilting back and you feel that your chin is coming higher than your forehead, you need to change that. So you need to take more height. You want your chin, it's very important in pranayama that your chin is moving down towards your chest. It creates an alkaline state in the body, and also when your head is tilted back, the mind battles to settle. Oh, that looks good, Joe. So close your eyes when you're ready. Your palms, you can let them face upwards. Fingertips curl. Feel how your chest is naturally lifted and supported in this position. So the breath comes easily. Just observe. Go back to Ujjayi 1. Just observing now the natural course of the breath as it enters and leaves the body. Allow your abdomen to be completely quiet as it softens broadly back like a web, spreading from the center, from the navel, broadening outwards and towards the back body. So this is a great preparatory pose for pranayama, for the breath control. There's nothing to be done here because the body is completely supported. Just to allow the breath to come in naturally. The lungs are opened. So while you're here, I'll just read you something from Lights on Yoga, the Sutras of Patanjali. Normal breath flows irregularly depending on one's environment and emotional state. In the beginning, this irregular flow of breath is controlled by a deliberate process. This control creates ease in the inflow and outflow of the breath. When this ease is attained, the breath must be regulated with attention. This is pranayama, or pranam is how you pronounce it in Sanskrit. Prana means life force, and yama means ascension, expansion, and extension. Pranayama or pranam is the expansion of the life force through control of the breath. In modern terms, prana is equated to bioenergy and works as follows. According to some Samkhya and yoga philosophies, man is composed of the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. The spine is an element of earth and acts as the field for respiration. Distribution and creation of space in the torso is the function of ether. Respiration represents the element of air. The remaining elements, water and fire, are by nature opposed to one another. The practice of pranayama fuses them to produce energy. This energy is called prana, life force, or bioenergy. So now press down into your elbows and just bring your knees together, bring your feet onto the floor. If you're a bit close, you can just push a little bit away from the wall, but see if you can have your feet onto the floor. Take your eye cover and just put it one side, know where it is, because we're going to use it in a moment. So now you'll need to move away from the wall with that same support. Just roll to the side, come sit up, move your supports away from the wall so that your feet are not going to touch the wall, that your hands on either side are not going to touch any support. Again, make sure you warm enough. You're going to stay lying with the support underneath your back. Have your legs bent when you lie into this position. And then if everybody can come into this position with legs bent, your back's on the support, just keep your eye cover off for now. Know where it is. Have your blanket if you need it. The back head is resting on the support. And now press down into your elbows. Bring them closer towards you. Press down. Puff your chest up. Keep it lifting and then slowly lower it down. Tuck your shoulders under. Move your buttocks flesh away from you and then straighten your legs. Let your ankle bones touch and then roll your feet out to the sides. Let your palms face up. If you feel that the back of the head is only touching the support, bring it in closer so that the back of the head support touches the top of your shoulders. Take your eye cover now. Close your eyes. And feel that the back of your neck is again lengthening so that your chin rests down towards your chest. Jalandhara Bandha. Allow your eyes to soften and relax as if they are melting down and towards the direction of the chest and towards the heart center. Anahata chakra, the heart chakra. Observe again how your chest is lifted so the breath comes easily into all the spaces in the lungs. Often we only use a small portion of our lung capacity, and when we stress, the breathing comes up into the upper chest. And that's why we need to gently draw the breath all the way down towards the navel even. And this relaxes and quietens the mind. Soothes the nerves. Helps a lot with anxiety. So we're going to add in another stage of pranayama. We're going to bring in Ujjayi 3, which is the longer inhalations now. So it'll be a deep, longer inhalation, the opposite of what we were doing just now. There'll be a pause, and then just a relaxing, releasing of the diaphragm, so you allow the air just to release and go out naturally, and then you return to normal breathing. So that would be one cycle. We'll do that together. So empty your lungs completely. All that residual air out. And now inhale deeply, evenly, slowly, filling the lungs. Feel the chest lifting even more, filling right up to the collarbones. Pause. And now just relax the diaphragm. Just let the air come out as a normal exhalation. And then return to normal breathing. Empty your lungs again. Inhale deeply, slowly, evenly, with control. Filling the lungs all the way up to the top. Pause. And then relax the diaphragm, release the breath, a normal exhalation. Make sure you go back to the normal breathing in between each cycle. So once you've done that exhalation, there's the normal breathing. Empty your lungs again. Inhale slowly, steadily, evenly, filling the lungs. An energizing inhalation all the way up. Pause at the top. Feel how the chest is completely lifted and opened, and then relax the chest. Relax all the intercostal muscles and the diaphragm. Let the air come out. The normal exhalation and return to normal breathing. If at any time, if your back feels like quite uncomfortable in this position, the lower back, you can just bend your legs and place your feet onto the floor. Empty your lungs again. Get all that residual air out. And now launch a
deep, steady Ujjayi inhalation, nourishing inhalation, filling into every cell and part in the lungs, right up to the top. Pause, the Kumbhaka, retention. And now exhale, Rechaka is exhalation, normal exhalation, and return to normal breathing. One more of those, empty your lungs completely. And now a deep Ujjayi inhalation. All the way up. Pause. And then relax the diaphragm, the intercostal muscles, those muscles between your ribs, and return to normal breathing. So when you're practicing pranayama, often the head tilts back. See that the back of the neck is still lengthening, the chin is moving down towards the chest. You're going to combine those two Ujjayi actions, focusing on a deep inhalation and a deep exhalation now. So they will both be controlled. But just remember the word ahimsa. There should be no violence, no strain to the body. So you need to go at your own capacity. Empty your lungs completely. All the residual air out. And now launch a deep, steady, controlled inhalation. Ujjayi inhalation, filling the lungs, nourishing all the way up, right to the top of the collarbones. Pause, Kumbhaka, retention. And now slowly exhale, controlled breath now, Rechaka. Slowly exhaling all the residual air out. And then return to normal breathing. Make sure you return to normal breathing. Sometimes when the body's so oxygenated, we kind of pause here, not realizing we're not breathing in between the cycles. Keep your breath flowing. We'll repeat that again. Exhale completely. Inhale a deep Ujjayi inhalation, nourishing the lungs, filling them all the way up to the top of the clavicles. Pause here, feel how the chest is lifted and opened. And now control the breath, slowly exhaling with control. All the way out, emptying your lungs, and then return to normal breathing. So now we'll bend the legs, put your feet onto the floor. Carefully roll over to your right. So just see where you take your eye cover to. Just roll over to the right and stay there for a moment. Use your left hand to press down onto the floor and come sit up. Bring your head up last. Just adjust the props and things on your mat now so that when you lie back down, you just have something underneath the back of your head. You can have the bolster under the back of your legs or blankets or something. Lie back down. Make sure you're lying straight. So don't just flop down into the pose. Have your legs bent. Take your back body down to the support first, to the floor. Lift your chest, let your shoulders move down your back. Buttocks flesh away from you. Cover yourself if you're cold. You can take your eye cover again and then straighten your legs over the support or just onto the floor.
Again, checking in that the back of your neck is lengthening, your chin is coming down towards your chest. And then completely relax when you've made all those adjustments. Sometimes we feel we need more of the physical or cardiac movements in yoga or exercise, but the restoratives are incredible for revitalizing. It's like a recharge of the entire system. So now let go of the body, let the physical soften and melt, the front of the body softening broadly towards your back body. Release your eyes deeply towards the back of your head, towards the back of your skull. And let the tip of the tongue move away from your front teeth. Let your tongue become broad and soft in the lower palate of the jaw. Gently release your jaw. Just unhinge it slightly with your lips gently touching. As the front of the body is deeply moving to the back body, feel how the back body is broadening, becoming expansive, as if it's melting to the floor below. And let the mind and the brain soften as if it's melting down with the eyes, down with the ears, the inner ears moving towards the center of the head, melting down with the eyes in towards your heart center, allowing the senses to melt down and pool into this heart center, heart chakra. And if your mind wanders, bring it to the breath, which will gently invite you to this inner space where you can completely let go.
Allow your breath to start to lengthen. And as your breath lengthens, allow the breath to reach into every cell in the body, filling the body and each cell with good health and love. Bring your hands onto your lower abdomen. You can bend your legs, keep your feet on the floor, but just let your legs be bent. Raise your right arm up and overhead onto the floor behind you. So when you roll over to your right, let your head rest on your right arm. Bring your knees up, curl them up towards you into the fetal position. Let your eye cover fall off. And allow your eyes to slowly start to focus down towards the floor. And then press down into your left hand. Bring your head up last as you sit up. And sit onto whatever support you've got there. Change the crossing of the legs compared to the way you normally go into it. So when you started the class, just do the other way. Bring your hands again into the prayer position. Lift your chest, collarbones away from each other. And then release your head down towards your heart. Allow the outer corners of your mouth to gently lift. And allow the smile to move down internally, all the way down, right down the spine, to the very base, to the root chakra. And let the smile broaden as it rises up again through the body, through all the internal organs. Right to the top of your head. Back down to rest in the seat of your heart. Thank you, everybody. Namaste. Enjoy this beautiful, beautiful day, and lots of love to you all. Thanks for being here.